25
And
years
how
ago.
there's
Whereas
my
Lynn
audio
received a
input.
master's and doctorate in nursing and served as a nurse educator for 25 years
Why don't
following
I
her
hear
early
anything?
years as
I guess I'll test it right now. Say something profound and not political.
I like cheese. I think cheese is very delicious.
Keep talking.
And I prefer pepper jack cheese. session? Did you say?
No, we were just. I
Okay,
was
we're
wondering
live.
if I missed a memo because you guys are all wearing.
Welcome to the Utah Senate Legislative Update. Today we had an exciting debate on Senator Bramble's bill regarding count my vote and some alternatives to that. We also recognized the Mothers of the Year, the Annual Mother of the Year, and so forth. And so we had some substantial things on the floor today. So we'd be happy to take a few questions. Just want to let you know that we don't intend to kind of rehash what was debated on the floor. It really speaks for itself today, and so we're going to post on YouTube the full debate of Senate Bill 54, but we're happy to take a few questions.
Does that take Senate Bill 54 off the? Can we still ask?
Yes,
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right. It was just noted on the floor that the exact language from the initiative is used in the bill, including typos. Why are the typos being kept? Why can't they be replaced with the correct language now?
I think the intention there, we need to have Senator Bramble, and he won't be here today to answer that, but I think it would be best to talk to him. He's the sponsor of the bill. I think one of the elements of there is that, we wanted to, it's part of the voice of the people actually putting that in if that was actually to pass, and so we have that language there. Robert, you're going to ask a question?
Yeah, I was about to. Why do this this year instead of waiting until next year? Since it doesn't take effect until the end of next year.
I think it's oftentimes Congress is acted based on initiative by the states. I think what happens is when the people start to their voice becomes loud, then it's also you'll get a response from the legislature, and a very appropriate response. And we're hearing that there's concern about this. We can see that there are some challenges in the count my vote language, as was expressed on the floor today. And I think it's our prerogative to weigh in on those and see if we can't make it better.
I have a question from a texter.
Okay.
You want that? It's in relation to the Education Task Force. This person wants you to explain the effectiveness of the Education Task Force. When this past year it was supposed to put everyone on the same page, but instead this session we had the speaker coming out with her own education plan that was not on the list of task force priorities, and no bills on increasing school counselors, which was a priority of the task force.
Well, that's a great question. We had some profound results from the Education Task Force. From my point of view, we came up with some key points that we will take some time on in this next this next interim in the task force. The initiative from the House is a surprise to us. We have a process here. It's a 45-day process, and any person of any mind can bring up an initiative, and we have a way to deal with that. But we're hoping to have some more profound discussions on education during the interim, based on the discoveries that we made last year. And we had 9 principals from schools that had 90% free and reduced lunch, 60% English language learners, and not to profile any of those schools, but people would think that they might get an F in the school grading system, but those schools got Bs. And we had them come in and explain what they were doing. And we got a number of different ideas on what will really make changes in student outcomes just from hearing those principles. And they'd never been heard before, not from any task force, not from anything from the legislature or from the governor's office. and I think that we need to hear from our principals and hear from our teachers. They're the people on the ground, and we're hearing what they can see really makes a difference, and that's what will be the focus of the task force this next year. Good question, though. It's a great question. Thanks for asking it.
Let me explain something else that most people don't understand. With an appropriation bill, you cannot change the law, so you have to appropriate money. That's different in the education bill. The public education bill is in fact a statute itself, and so you can change law in the public education bill. A lot of times the funding for counselors or whatever it may be is all included within the education bill. Now sometimes people will file separate bills, but it usually gets all blended together in the education bill. So it's hard to tell exactly. I have not looked for that specific issue on the list of priorities, but that's how it's handled.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks very much.
Talking a little bit about Medicaid, a little bit about the education initiative, and those will be the main topics. A little bit, maybe some discussion, questions on SB 54.
Just in time.
All right.
Oh, I got one thing real quickly. For those that are interested, I have some updates as to how many bills have been numbered and how many bills have been passed, if anybody's interested. We passed 50 bills before we had our time this morning. Here is also a pie chart for anyone who would like to have it of the status request. So these are the bills that have been requested. We have numbered, as of this morning, 595 bills. We have a total of 1,216, however, requests for legislation, which is an all-time high. 1,216 total requests for legislation.
And 90% of those are Senator Valentine's.
1,216 total bill requests. Total bill numbered is 595.
So how many of those are yours?
Oh, I got about 20.
I think we need to highlight that 314 of those were abandoned.
Yes, 314 of those were abandoned.
314 are gone. They're Senator Valentine's.
Ryan,
I don't know.
Thank you.
So